Enough discrimination is a silent war. Lack of information is a silent war. Enough races is a silent war. Silent war, silent war. Enough discrimination is a silent war. Miscommunication is a silent war. Money is a weapon to enslave the poor. Silent war.
Right? So no one who's going through addiction got there on their own. Now, if you're going through addiction, you're not out of the woods yet, because I got a lot to say, right? But it all boils down to this. No one who is in active addiction, who wasn't in active addiction, got there by themselves. It helped, right? We've got to figure out now the root cause of why, Justin, why do you like to drink? Why do you like to do drugs? Why do you like this stuff? Because that has to be the only justifiable reason for you doing it at this point, is because you like it. Or maybe, Justin, it's because you're escaping. This is the stuff that I'm talking to in my head about. Maybe you're trying to escape. What the hell are you trying to escape? Then you find the right person, the right counselor. For me in my situation, her name is Miss Wilson. I won't give you, the rest of her information without, her consent. But you find that right person that says, you know what? Maybe you're the problem. And I said, oh, shoot. And I know that's some harsh thing to say, and I know that we're in a culture now where we are overly sensitive to people because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. Maybe you're the problem, and I don't mean maybe their cause. I never said you were the cause. I said maybe the problem. You're blocking yourself from being able to figure out that root cause. Talking to her and another counselor at a different facility at another point in my life, I realized that I couldn't address what the issue was. Because I didn't know what the issue was, because I was too busy blocking myself from finding out what the damn issue was. Because we have it in our heads that the people that we've been around for so long, they don't really know us. You don't know me. I know myself better than anybody else. So you got to find the root cause. In order to find the root cause, you got to get out your own way. It's hard to drive a car, right? While looking at the road maps, while singing a song, while doing your makeup, while eating a sandwich, while painting your toenails. It's hard to multifunction in a capacity that requires your full attention. So we gotta get to the root cause. When I talked about the root causes of myself, my addiction, my problems, there was stuff that was brought up, right, in my dreams, in memories. I forgot. I had no idea. There was stuff I thought like that just surfaced. Where if I would have told myself, or if I would have said these things out loud to somebody, I would have convinced myself that I was lying to them. I would have convinced myself, because when you start to clean something, right? Let's say when you get a pimple, I got one up there somewhere, right? When you squeeze a pimple, stuff comes out, right? But all the caked up stuff back there comes out. You see what I'm saying? When you have an abscess and the doctors drain you out wherever it is, whether it's in your mouth or you have like a cyst, they drain it to get all that stuff out, right? But they keep draining so that way they get all of it out, right? So in order to get to the root cause, you got to dig so deep. You got to dig deeper, right, than the worst day that you felt when you weren't using. Got to dig deeper than that. Because it's not enough to just deal with that surface addiction. Surface addiction. It's not enough. You got to dig so deep. I'm telling you, like, when I say you got to dig deep, you got to dig so deep that the next thing you want to do is go out and use. You just don't go out and use. All right? Now, once you've gotten to that point and you've addressed that root cause and you figure out that root cause, right? There's no other option. And I hate to be the one to break it to you. There's no other option than to accept what that root cause is, right? And learn ways to address it and to live knowing that you know what that root cause was. It's important to know because, and I say this often to my closest support system, and I know they hate when I say it, but I'm going to say it once more to you guys. A person cannot be unraped. A person cannot be unmolested. A person cannot be unabused. A person cannot be unemotionally, mentally, physically abused. So because you cannot erase it, you have to learn to accept that it happened and to learn ways to live with that knowledge. See, it's great, and it's so much easier to do than it is to say. And I know what I just said. It's so much easier to do than it is to say. And I say that because a year ago I couldn't say any of what I'm saying to you guys, and be this worked up and mean it. A year ago, if I was saying this, I probably would have been high or drunk telling you. Maybe 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? It's once you start to like put this in motion, put your addiction in motion, or your recovery in motion rather, you realize, holy shit, this is much easier than I thought it would be. And the reason why I say that is because once you got into that root cause, there's no worse place in recovery than getting to the surface of what caused you to get there. Anyone who's ever been addicted to something, who's ever had to overcome that, you tell me I'm lying. There's no worse place mentally, physically, and emotionally, and spiritually, than to be at that lower pit where you're bringing up all of it. Once you get through that, there's nothing in this world you won't conquer, right? And because of that, the next steps are going to be easier than you actually think they will be. And this is not for people who've done it 10, 20 times. This is some like, I really want to find out what the fuck's wrong with me. Right? That's what you got to do. So find out that root cause. After finding out the root cause, right, make sure, and maybe you should do this first, make sure you have someone or something to connect to. Listen, there was a long time for a while after getting to start to really work on myself that like I would talk to a voicemail of my little brother, and vent to him. But you know what? After I vented, I could take it off. I didn't have to wear it anymore. There came a point in the last year where I have developed a support system stronger than anything that I've ever developed in my life. Bigger than any company that I'll ever create, my support system. And getting it off and talking to them and just being like, you know what? Today's not the day. I'm not doing well today. Like I am mentally drained today. I am mentally tired. I'm emotionally tired. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just don't feel well. I need some rest. I need some space. You gotta find someone or something to connect to, right? This is probably one. They're all important. This is one that took me. It was hard for me to really grasp onto this. Right? There's no right way to overcome addiction. Your place, your time, right? When you are genuinely ready. I have seen men, and women alike, but I've seen men 70, 80 years old, still in active use. And they come into the to a facility, right? They say, I want to change, and I want to get better, and this is the time. I don't know, the old anonymous group saying, I may not have one more in me. And then they do the same shit over and over again because they're not genuinely ready to change, and maybe they never will be. That's their close to wear, not mine. Right? I'm talking to those that really genuinely want to be different, want to do different. You can. You just have to really work on doing that. And in order to work on being able to do it at your own pace, you have to get through that surface stuff first. Right? There's no one in this world. No one, not one person, not me, not the person you're sitting next to, not the person you're going to call after you hear me say all the stuff that I'm going to talk about, and I only have a couple more minutes and I'm going to stop. No one in this world can tell you how you feel. Not one person can tell you that. No one can tell you how you feel. You have to come up with that summation. The only way to do that, go back to step one, find out the root cause, have someone or something to confide in, and accept the facts. And don't exaggerate the facts. That's the next step. Is you gotta, us addicts, we are the most manipulative pieces of, we are so manipulative in active use. It's almost an art how manipulative an addict can be. But the thing that we fail to realize is that we weren't really manipulating anybody. People just felt bad for us. So you have to get to a point where that truth, right? They say you have three faces. I think it is one that you show everyone, one that you don't show everyone, and one that you don't even know. Yeah, I'm screwing that quote up, so let's not use it. But my point that I'm trying to make is that you have to get to a point, a state of mind where you are completely honest with yourself. Like, brutally honest. One of the most honest things that I had to do with myself is realize that all these people that are dying in my life, left and right, I'm at 27, that not one of them died because I killed them. Not one of them would be here if I had done anything differently that day that they died. But I wanted to live in sorrow. I wanted to mourn. I wanted to be sad. Because if I was sad, then I could drink, and then I'll have an excuse to drink, and I have an excuse to call out, and I have an excuse to go do this and do that. Now, at some point, when we decide to be honest with ourselves about it, right, and we stop manipulating ourselves, healing process really is, that means it's in motion. There's a biblical scripture that says, no weapons formed against me shall prosper. Sometimes you have to stop being the weapon that's formed against you so that way you can prosper. You have to stop being the weapon that's formed against you so you can prosper. And the only way to stop being the weapon that's formed against you is to start to be honest with yourself and accept the things that you have no control over, and to learn ways to deal with the things that you have no control over in a healthy way. Addiction is not the problem. My last step for me working on me, and it's a continuation. This is not like an overnight, you stop tomorrow and I'm free. Because it's not about being free or enslaved. It's not about whether you go through a lifetime of treatment or you're cured. It's the idea that any day, any time, for any reason, anyone can fall through those cracks. You're not special and alone in that. Please believe me on that. There's not one person on this earth that can look me in the eyes right now and say, tomorrow I won't be addicted to something. There's not one person in this world that can honestly, concretely look me in the eyes right now, including myself, that can say that tomorrow a life-changing event is not going to happen, and that's not going to cause me to go through this effect, and not going to cause me to go through this effect, which would end up causing me to be homeless. No one can say that. Newton's laws prove that. And we follow these laws of motion like they're, not like it's black and white. You got to follow them. So even his laws tells us that. Because one thing that we can't predict is the future. So if we can't predict the future, then I don't know if that force is going to come. This is why sometimes I got to be that force. Right? Last thing that helps me out, right? That I work on. At some point, and this is going to be the hardest one that I talk about, and this is probably going to be the one that I end on, right? At some point, you have to stop being the victim. First of all, the worst person to be a victim around is another addict. Because for your story, I have 5. For my story, he has 10. And I don't want to be one-upped. Because truthfully, the reality of it is, when I was in use, I didn't give a damn about what your story was. I may have listened, but I didn't give a damn. Now, I'll genuinely listen to people. I'll genuinely try to relate and try to be compassionate because of the things that I went through. But that victim mentality, oh my goodness. It is worse than the smell of cigarettes after you quit smoking. It is worse than the smell of alcohol when you quit drinking and someone comes in drunk off their ass. That victim mentality, right, takes away from the folks out there that are really victims. At some point, right, in addiction, I don't know when it is. I can't tell you when it was for me. But at some point, I wasn't a victim anymore. It was a decision that I was making to continue to be on my bullshit. So you have to get to that point where you are not playing the victim anymore. Notice I said the word playing. And it's don't get me wrong. I'm not even saying that you are at fault for that mentality. I'm saying that you have to get out of that mentality. So understand my words. That it's not about me throwing the blame game and saying, you know what, it's your fault you were raped. No, God, no. It's not about me saying, oh, it was your fault that your parents beat you or your parents abandoned you. No. But what I am saying is that you don't need to live with that anymore so bad that it causes you to want to pick up something so small and alter your entire being. At some point, you have to address it. One of the hardest things that I had to do last year, right, was realize that I will never get to tell my biological father half the stuff that I want to tell him, because he died before I can tell him those things. And I lived with this burden for so long because of his lack of care, his lack of being in my life, his lack of, love and compassion. And then I realized, right, I wasn't sad that he had died as much as I was sad that I couldn't tell him the things that I wanted to tell him, because I wanted him to feel bad, because I wanted to play the victim. That's so unhealthy. We have to stop playing the victim and start getting into survival mode. You are a survivor, not a victim. You're a survivor. A victim is someone who is powerless. And this is why I don't do anonymous groups, because I don't like their wording. I think victimhood is powerless. Right now, I possess all the power and the authority and the know-how to not do the things that I don't want to do. Whether I make the choice to do them or not is a separate situation, right? So how do I survive, right? In a minute and 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you. The first thing is you got to get yourself back. Who you were during that addictive time, always remember that person, but always remember that you are not that person anymore. Right? You gotta get yourself back. You gotta take some self-care. Get a haircut, paint your nails, cut your nails, jump in a pool, sit on the grass, take your socks off. Get yourself back. Fall in love with who you are, not who everyone thinks you are. You have to get help. You have to get help from somewhere. Something or someone. You have to get the help. It's necessary. It's vital that you get the help. Right? You have to learn. In order for you to love yourself, you have to know yourself. And so now you have to learn, who am I? Who am I? This one person in this world full of billions of people, in this universe full of billions of stars, who am I? Who am I? You gotta and if you have to, reinvent yourself. You have that power. You have that ability. You don't have to live by what other people define you as. Be who you want to be. Okay? But always remember what you've been through, right? The last and most important thing is find your boundaries. You have to get to a point where you say yes, no, or you're too damn close, right? This is one of the things I, even to this day, am still working on, is knowing when enough is enough, right? The hardest person you can say no to is yourself. So if now you have learned all these steps and you are saying no to yourself, I am not a victim. I will not use drugs. I'm going to get help. I'm going to take care of myself. Saying no to someone else shouldn't be that hard. Because guess what? Came in this world alone. So what our parents used to tell us, right? And you're going to leave this world alone. And more importantly, right? And I don't truly believe that, so I can't even live by that. But at the end of the day, your spirit knows much, much, much more than your mind. Your spirit knows much more than your mind. And so even though, yes, we have all made mindful mistakes, right? This is why the battle between the spirit and the mind is always going to be continuous. Sometimes you lose a battle in the mind, sometimes you lose a battle in the spirit, but your spirit will always guide you in the right direction. Guys, I cannot stress this enough. When in Hamlet, the phrase "to thine own self," or "this above all things, to thine own self be true," right? First, let me tell you, I've never seen Hamlet, never read the book, right? But I know the quotation very well and the actual, that scene very well, right? And the father, I don't even know the characters' names, right? Funny, right? But I'm about to educate you guys on something. Father was telling the son, he was giving him a lecture on, going to school. And he was leaving off to college or whatever. And he was giving him a whole list of things, right? I can't even tell you what the other list things were. I know that one of them was don't borrow money, don't lend money. All right, that's a whole other conversation we're going to have for a whole other day. But at the end he says, above all else, to thine own self be true. That's the most important thing that I want you to remember, son. Hey, friend out there, that's the most important thing I want you to remember. Is that if to nobody else, to to yourself, be true, because when you are truthful to yourself, no one can take that away. So guys, I thank you so much for hearing me out. An hour, I can't believe it's been. I'll try to break it up, maybe put like a funny commercial or something in there. But I thank you guys for listening to me. I thank you guys for your support. Please head over to the website, check it out. I spent a total of 75 hours building this website for you, because I already have the information. So check it out, guys. I love you guys from the depths of my soul. I really do. I thank you guys. I thank my support system. I thank my friends and family that have, guided me along this way. And most importantly, I thank my higher power, God. Guys, to thine own self, be true.
Yo, this for the culture, man. I don't do this shit for fame. You already, you know what I mean? Papers.
Black skill and blacks, that is an understatement. The undertaker taking natural creations, this my proclamation. Standard innovation is the crowd absorb it. I move like planets orbit, tighter than the door shit when I flow like faucets. That's some bullshit. My team is moving cautious, never counting losses. Mumble rappers, actors, they got me nauseous. I'm something they can stomach like Elijah Muhammad. I'm not Islamic, but I bomb it. I watch them plummet. I plunder with words of thunder, cast them asunder. The knife wonder from the under. I bet you wonder about my artistry. None as hard as me. The God degree, gotta charge a fee like I'm a banker. And you landed on my property. This monopoly, you did it sloppily. Can't copy me, you're not a gangster. It must be some miscommunication. I never fell off, now I'm back. I was on vacation, meditating verbatim. Don't hate me, God made them. They say God love fools, but I annihilate them. It's complex, I bomb for checks. I break arms and necks, no false alarm, and I disarm your set.
Enough discrimination is a silent war. Lack of information is a silent war. Enough my races is a silent war. Silent war, silent war. Enough discrimination is a silent war. Miscommunication is a silent war. Money is a weapon to enslave the poor. Silent war, war.
Revealing secrets of the universe to quench your thirst. You need to get a nurse, let's call her hearse, cause times got worse. I give life to a soulless being, for God is overseeing. Got devils fleeing, unnatural beings. Abomination, this confirmation. My observation, cause I got no patience, times is wasted. I shall proceed, the world is ruled by those who thirst for greed. They work us to the bone, until our fingers bleed. My slug spitting like a saxophone. You try to relax at home, mind your own. To lead pierce your dome. You niggas gangster till you called alone. Ain't no love in these streets, little nigga, your ass should've known. My beats will body him, knock him off your feet like a shotty. Hit him in a Bacardi, chillin', Bacardi sippin'. Nowadays these young niggas trippin', like my mother told me, they need an old-fashioned ass whipping.
Enough discrimination is a silent war. Lack of information is a silent war. Enough my races is a silent war. Silent war, silent war. Enough discrimination is a silent war. Miscommunication is a silent war. Money is a weapon to enslave the poor. Silent war, war.
Shapeshifters, hybrids, and reptilians gathered in the devil's den. Seal the deal in blood with the devil's pen. The cherubim and the antichrist, it's a crisis. I might just blow their mic devices when I write this righteous, benevolent, wise, intelligent, sniping vipers. Then I rock them back and forth like they windshield wipers. The golden child, golden touch, like a Midas. I got them tight like arthritis while riders try to bite this. I'm too strategic, leave them crippled like they quadriplegic. The God release it on the pedestal, they cannot reach it. I never share my thoughts with fools, that's not teaching. Silent war, the enemy, they're not breaching. I got perimeters, God scrimmager, finisher, light bearer, bring night terrors, the miniature. So eat your spinach, better get your veggies, because my team is ready, from South Sudan to the Serengeti.
Enough discrimination is a silent war. Lack of information is a silent war. Enough my races is a silent war. Silent war, silent war. Enough discrimination is a silent war. Miscommunication is a silent war. Money is a weapon to enslave the poor. Silent war, war.